Well, hello, and welcome to episode 231 of Drink the Movies. I'm Brian here, as always, with Michaela. And Michaela, 22 years ago, we got we got introduced to, I don't know, the whole concept of trading places with someone. Maybe not introduced to the whole concept of it, but it was certainly told in a new and exciting way in Freaky Friday. And just a few years later, we're about ready to have an even freakier Friday.
Freakier Friday, indeed. So back in the old days, back in the before times in 2003, uh, we met Jamie Lee Curtis, who had been in a lot of things, right? She'd already done like amazing things, like A Fish Called Wanda. She'd been in True Lies, which is one of my favorite films of hers, right? And
Mm,
she
hmm
plays
hmm
this like middle-aged mom, which is funny now because there was this whole joke about how when they do trade places with her daughter, like her daughter is in her body and is like, I look like the Crypt Keeper. And now I look at Jamie Lee Curtis back in 2003 and I'm like, she looked amazing. She was only like 43. She was only like my age now, and she looks way better than I did or do, right? And
Yeah.
and so yeah, it kind of became this thing. And to be fair, this is my favorite Lindsay Lohan film. I like this movie. I like the original much better than Mean Girls. So when they were coming out with Freakier Friday, I was like, this is either going to be amazing or it's going to, hit really poorly. It's going to be very cringe, as the kids now say. But we saw it. You had never seen the original. And
I had
so
not.
I'm really excited to get kind of a take on this that's going to be similar, I think, to my take on Mean Girls, because I think you might have missed the Freaky Friday boat, just as I missed that window of loving the Mean Girls. And so I'm excited to get your take on this when we get deeper into this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about all that. And yeah, I'm gonna have to refresh myself on Freaky Friday before we get into Freakier Friday. But before I do that, I need to mix up a cocktail for myself to have for these, no doubt. So let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll grab some Empress gin, we'll grab some lychees or lychees, depending on how you want to say it, and we'll be right back to mix up this week's drink.
So, Brian, we looked all over the internet, and I also had a little bit of help from a bar in Greenville called Neat, which is actually a whiskey bar, but they did a lot of really fun drinks. And one of the things that they did was this really beautiful Empress lychee gimlet kind of martini thing, and it was
Mhm.
beautiful. It had lychees in it, and I thought because at the time I hadn't seen Freakier Friday. So I was like, I think that this will go well, at least with the aesthetic, because there's this whole fashion moment in the show where everyone's in these really bright colors. And what color is better than indigo colored gin? Nothing. Nothing is better than that.
Nothing.
I'll tell you.
Nothing is better than that, and very few things taste better than that, for sure. And when you pair it with some lychees, you're going to be a-okay there. So yeah, so the Empress Lychee Gimlet, it comes together really simply, and we found a couple of variants of this recipe, and a lot of them seemed like they called for a lot of the lychee juice, the little
Mm.
fruits that are like canned in and things like that. And it seemed to me like those amounts got overwhelming, and it was more of like a long drink kind of a thing, or like a gin and soda that you'd be doing with some lychee in it. It didn't really remind me of a gimlet too much, so we actually kind of crafted our own, and maybe this is closer to what you had there at your bar in Greenville.
Mm.
So let's talk about the traditional gimlet first. It's a classic recipe. It is gin, it is lime juice, it is simple syrup. It's very simple to put together. It's classic. You can have it at your fanciest steakhouse while you're
Mm.
enjoying your meal for sure. So I based my recipe kind of off of that. So what we're going to do is into a shaker tin goes 1 3/4 of an ounce of Empress gin, 3/4 of an ounce of lychee liqueur, a half an ounce of lime juice, and a half an ounce of simple syrup. Go ahead and shake that up with some ice. And then you can strain that into a well-chilled martini glass or a coupe glass. And then just to be extra beautiful, you can go ahead and garnish that with like an edible flower, like one of those uh, dried flowers there on top. It's going to look really nice, and you can sip and enjoy. You get that
Mm.
lychee flavor in there. It's a little, aromatic. It's kind of citrusy and kind of fruity tasting, but it also has like this nice like earthiness to it. This one really good.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's delicious. I really love kind of the understatedness of this. Like you could also pair it and serve it with lychees if you can find them. You can get you. I want to say that you can get them at a grocery store in a can in like your international section. We had trouble finding them, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
You could
But
for
I
sure find
think
them at your Asian market, if you have
you
one of
absolutely
those
could.
by you. Yeah.
For sure. And I think though, for the sake of paying homage to Freakier Friday, I think I actually like the idea of the edible flower better or the flower petal better because it does make it look like something you would serve at a wedding. And surprise, surprise, Freakier Friday has a wedding in it, upcoming wedding, just like Freaky Friday. Mom, the middle mom, mom's getting married, right? Lindsay Lohan
Yeah.
found her match, and yeah, it's something that I definitely think that we would serve at her wedding because at the end it's like really pretty. It's in like a garden setting. She's got this really like simple yet like understated, elegant wedding dress. It would pair beautifully with the color of this martini or gimlet for sure.
Absolutely. So go ahead and mix one of these up. Try that out. If you didn't have the lychee liqueur, you could swap in some lychee juice with that. If I did, I would probably pare down the simple syrup just a little bit. So keep that
Yeah.
in mind if you're mixing one up. And if you do, definitely send us a picture of it because we would like to see it. And now that we have those made, Michaela, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll revisit Freaky Friday over on our Patreon, and then we'll be back to chat about Freakier Friday with everyone right here. So sit tight, and we'll be right back.
Oh my god, what is happening?
Okay,
Who am I?
it's me, it's Mom.
If you're me and I'm you, then who's that?
I'm Grandma, sweetheart.
Spoiler warning for Freakier Friday. If you've not yet seen Freakier Friday, you probably should go see Freaky Friday so you know what's going on, but maybe not. Maybe you don't really need to. I don't know. We'll talk about that. But we're going to
You should
talk about
probably get there.
Freakier Friday. But we're talking about Freakier Friday. We're going to talk about all the things. I don't know if there are really lots of spoilers here because it's a pretty like well-known kind of trope that we see, but it's still a good time. So we're going to talk about all the things. Go make yourself up a lychee gimlet, an Empress lychee gimlet, and go watch the show, and then come back and we can chat about all things Freakier Friday.
Absolutely. So, if you haven't had a chance to see it, that's probably because it just came out. It was released in 2025 and it was directed by Nisha Ganatra and it stars Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. Of course, they're back as the mother-daughter dynamic body swapping duo, Tess and Anna Coleman. Anna's daughter, Harper, is played by Julia Butters, and the newest soon-to-be members of her family are husband to be Eric Reyes, played by Manny Jacinto, and the would-be daughter-in-law, Lily, is played by Sophia Hammonds. So, Michaela, this takes place literally 22 years after the original, just like in real life, I guess. Real world time and Freaky Friday time go at the go at the same rate. So we're 22 years later after the first film, and we're covering the first film over on our Patreon. So that's a great place to go. Here's chat about that. But to give everyone a quick refresher, basically the crux of that story is mother and daughter are not seeing eye to eye as a wedding is pending, right, for mom to
Mm,
be Jamie Lee Curtis, his character there, Tess, and they go to a Chinese restaurant. They eat a magic fortune cookie and they swap places, right? Mother and daughter swap places until they learn to see from the perspective of the other and they come together and it is all happy and blissful. Ta-da, happy ending. Tears are streaming. Joy is
mm.
had. I don't know, all the things. And then 22 years later, we're back with mother and daughter, and it's similar kind of situation this time, right? Apparently, Anna's husband or whatever Anna's husband or Harper's father basically is out of the picture. I guess had passed away, something like that, and we're bringing in a new fiance, new husband to be, just like in the first one, but this time we're getting the added benefit of a daughter-in-law coming into the picture as well.
Yes. Immigrant British. She's got this beautiful British accent. Lily Reyes is this girl who becomes like enemy number one to poor Harper. Like on the first day of school or on the second day of school, she shows up. Lily is um really beautiful. She's got this exotic accent and she's not interested in doing real schoolwork. She's really into like fashion designing. She's got this really big, beautiful book of fashion designing. But it really rubs Harper the wrong way. So they become like enemies number one. their parents meet, and their parents like instantaneously fall in love. And so, like 5 months later, they're getting married, and that really, as it should, it really makes the kids unhappy because they have to figure out how to like combine households and where they're going to live. And at the beginning of this whole movie, they've sort of laid out that they're planning on moving back to England. Lily's going to go to school there, and Lily's super excited about it because she gets to go back to her home, to kind of her home country, and all of that. Now, Lily's mom had passed away, and so I think these are both widows or widowers. I'm not sure. They don't really talk about what happened to uh, Anna's boyfriend or Harper's dad, so or husband, whoever that was. But we
Yeah.
do get insight that she did date Jake for a good long time when they were young, and everybody regards Jake as her first love. And so the girls kind of conspire to try and set up a situation where their parents don't get married. And so there's kind of this weird like opposite parent trap thing, which I find kind of interesting because
Mm.
um, Lindsay Lohan was in the remake of The Parent Trap in the '90s with a bunch of actors. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
That's true. That's true. So that kind of sets the stage. That's who these characters are. Basically, um, you have Tess now, who's still a psychiatrist. They're still doing her things, still writing books, things like that.
still
Lindsay
married to
Lohan,
smoke show Mark Harmon.
still
Holy
married,
moly, he just
still
gets
married
better
to Mark
looking
Harmon.
every minute. I
Aging
mean,
like
how
a
does that
fine wine
happen?
over there, Mark Harmon. Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. All these people are aging pretty well. Jamie Lee
yeah,
Curtis,
it's
Lindsay
true.
Lohan, for sure. Chad Michael Murray. They're all looking good. 22 years on, way better than I have aged for sure. Anna is now in the music industry. She's like a music producer, executive kind of thing at the record label. So that's pretty good. It's carrying on from her rock and roll roots, right? Even though that seems like it was an entire lifetime ago, and something that is not appreciated enough by her own daughter. Something she might have instilled in her daughter, seeing that her own mother didn't instill it in her, and she had to learn that lesson the hard way 22 years ago. So that's kind of the players here for sure. And when we get to the fateful, it's like a bachelorette party, I guess, right? And
Yeah.
they're at like this like restaurant bar kind of thing, like hanging out, doing all the bachelorette party things. You get dragged into like a weird like speakeasy of of magical mysticism palm reading. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And that's about when your world is to turn upside down. I don't how did you like this, Michaela? Because the palm reader basically sets this in motion, right? The first time we had the grandma at the Chinese restaurant who kind of set the
Mm.
wheels in motion of this body swap. This time it's coming from like this happenstance. Madam Jen, the fortune teller, is played by Vanessa Bayer. How did you like that compared to the first one? Did it make any sense that is like completely different or not?
No, makes no sense. I think honestly, if that's the one thing I could change, I mean, look, we're gonna talk about this because you're gonna, this is not an Oscar-winning film. I get that, but
We
if
don't
I
know
could
that.
offer one, it
The
could
Academy is
possibly
watching. I
win
don't know.
best song. I think that this was probably my least favorite kind of piece of the film. If there was one thing that I could
Okay.
change, I think that it was how in which this happened because. Look, I love I loved Madame Jen as like a character. Vanessa Bayer, she's hilarious. But she's
Mhm.
got like all these business cards. She's like, I'm a dog sitter. I have a multi-line like a pyramid scheme going on over here. I can do your banking. I make business cards. Like she has all these things that she does as well as she's like a psychic medium. And then all of a sudden she's like, you will switch places until you change your hearts. Rah rah rah. And the girls are like, what? They no, it's very confusing. Um, it just seems really, I don't know. It's very out of place, and I get it. I don't know why I like the original idea better. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know why because Mama P and the grandma are in the film. Like
They're in the film,
they're
yeah.
there.
Well,
And so
you're not gonna eat a fortune cookie from that lady again.
the girls
Tell her to
do
take a hike.
the girls could, and that's the thing, like
The
they
girls
could
could,
have
yeah, yeah.
definitely, because the adults never told anybody, like Anna and Tess never told anybody that their bodies were switched. That was a
Mhm,
whole
mhm,
part
mhm.
of the first show, so I don't know why they don't like they don't see this and go ahead and do a switcheroony on them and be like, haha, because um, it adds more to the story where now they have to go find the fortune teller again because when the switch happens, it's not just Anna and Harper that switch as mother and daughter. It is now Anna and Harper and Tess and Lily. And so the older like characters are now in the bodies of the younger people. So,
Hmm.
you really see where Harper is inside her mom, right? And then Lily is now inside her would-be grandmother, I guess. And so
Her
it
would
it
be
there's
her would be step grandmother.
step grandmother, yes, yeah. And so the Tess and Anna like know exactly what to do. They're like, oh my gosh, what happened? How did this happen again? There had to have been a reason. There had to have been what all we have to do is see from each other's perspective. Like they already kind of have jumped to that conclusion versus you see the two the two older people who are actually in the, entrapped in the older bodies of the younger
Yeah.
people. They like run at each other, which is exactly what we see in the first film. So some of that's kind of fun, but like then they have to spend time like finding the fortune teller, having her remember what she said, trying to figure out what it actually means. And some of that I think we could have done without.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean I liked that. I didn't really like the way that it was set up and like I mean I think the setup was fine had we not had, the original where it happened, on the fortune cookies. So that was a little strange to me, but there's a lot of fun stuff that happens, I guess, in the body swap portion. We'll kind of circle back on how that all played out. But I like some of the stuff because yeah, a lot of it harken back to the original there where they're trying to run into each other. It's kind of like a gag in the first one that Jamie Lee Curtis, now that she was in like the youthful body, was like eating the French fries in the car. So now that mother and daughter Tess and Anna have like this young metabolism, they go and they get like every like they stop at like the hamburger place, like the taco place, and they're just eating the whole time. They're like, "This is amazing! I love that." I thought that that was pretty good, and then I liked kind of the bits, I guess, with then the daughter and stepdaughter who are now, and playing the older characters there, and their kind of attempts to break up uh
Mm.
the her mom and Manny Jacinto's character Eric. There I like that because then you get obviously the humorous bits with Jake coming back into play, Chad Michael Murray's
Mm.
character who owns like this record store. A little bit of a plot hole there. They're there, right? The girls go there to meet up with him so they could try to seduce him, I guess, to make him fall back in love with Anna, which doesn't seem like it should be that difficult. But hey, they're learning on the fly. So he rolls up on a motorcycle, right? He's a cool dude,
Mm.
Chad Michael Murray. He's got like the jacket on, he's got the helmet on, gets off the motorcycle. We see him riding the motorcycle in high school,
Mm.
right? Back in the first one. That makes sense. That makes sense. So they go in, they do their seductive bit, which obviously falls very flat. And then he's like, "Here, take my car. Where did the car come from? You rode in on a motorcycle."
He just has
He just has a
a
spare car
red computer. He has a red convertible
for in case his
like
real love Tess
for
drops by.
yeah.
He's like, "I got to keep the car on
I
hand
got to keep the car
in
just in
case
case
Jamie Lee Curtis comes."
her
I
knees
I
can't
know.
take being on a motorcycle. Yeah, I don't know. So again, this trope is a little weird because he still looks at Tess like wantonly, and it's like, hey, you dated her daughter for years, apparently. Like they've added this story. It was, they were like really in
Mm.
love, and it just didn't work out, and they're still really good friends.
It didn't work
You
out
can
because he was
tell.
always into Tess.
I
Which is
guess.
also a
I
carryover
mean,
because he was into Tess in the
yeah,
first
but
one
he was
too,
into
right?
Tess it was the wrong body. It was
He didn't know
that's
that.
the
He didn't
he
know.
didn't,
He just
but
thought that Tess was cool, and he thought she
yeah,
was the Scream
I
Queen, Jamie Lee
I
Curtis. That's why he was. That's why.
I get. I guess. I mean, I do love at the end he shows up to the wedding that does take place. Spoiler warning, right? All is well that ends well at the end. But Chad Michael Murray's character Jake shows up and he's like, "Oh, I got a girlfriend," and it's been like a day, and the girlfriend is literally a Jamie Lee Curtis lookalike from Freaky Friday.
Yeah, from
So she's
2002.
got
Yeah, or
the red
2003.
short hair. She's in the exact same dress. It's
Yeah.
freaking amazing. I'm like this. That's cool. That's cool.
It's pretty good. I do. He asks for the car keys back, and they're like, "No." He's like, "Okay, I guess." So that's pretty good. The other person we need to talk about here is Eric, who's played by Manny Jacinto, who's coming in as the husband to be, right? And part of this is trying to break them up. So that's really, I guess, where the learning part happens kind of on a couple of hands, right? So Eric has to go to immigration office to meet there to get a approval, I guess, to get married and
Mm.
stay in the country. So he does that with Harper, there his soon-to-be stepdaughter, there, and she learns that Eric is actually like really that into his mom. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's probably the highest part of the story, I think, is her coming to that realization. And then on the flip side of that, he has his own daughter who's also against this. She doesn't want to stay in California. Who wants to stay in California and go back to London and go to your old school? Like that makes sense. That's pretty cool. So she's upset about it, but she comes to grasp with the fact that her dad is really sad. So, so she's just going to have to be stuck in California. That's the lesson she learned, I guess. So, really, everyone kind of gets what they want except for her at the end of the day. That's okay, because everyone is going to be happy. I want to talk about Manny Jacinto here a little bit. Manny Jacinto is rising star. Seems to be uh, very excellent actor. I really liked him in this. He was just in The Acolyte and Star Wars. He's done a couple of other things now, but he was like firing on all cylinders. I thought he was great. Definitely the bright
Oh,
spot of the movie for me
yeah,
was
yeah.
was Eric. Yeah.
Yeah, he was very good. And I think he didn't, I dare say it. I don't think he had a lot of things to necessarily work with from a script perspective. Um, it was very, to me, I think that if we're going to compare this to Freaky Friday, I think that that's where things kind of fall short a little bit because they try and do the same kind of moments, and he didn't have the same level of script. I think that the past rendition of this had, right? That being said, I think he did a really good job of being believable in when he's having the conversation around, hey, I my daughter's going to be okay. We're going to make sure she's okay. Um, we really need to plug into this life. There's a lot of unresolved feelings around surrounding her mom's death. We're gonna, and so I think that for me, you're right, was kind of a bright spot. His comedic timing was also impeccable. There's like a scene where uh it kind of all blows up at a brunch and he's like, what is happening? And it's his facial expressions, it's like his face is almost made out of plastic. It's like
Mhm.
beautiful plastic because he can do these things, like his eyes shift and like his eyebrows move in a different way. I don't know how to explain it, and I'm
He was
trying to
he
do
was
it.
molded into a beautiful human being statue
He
right
was
there.
just
Yeah.
he just was, but the command that he has over kind of the physicality of his comedy, even though this isn't like a slapstick kind of thing, I thought was great. Especially when he's like trying to learn how to like surf. I thought that was
Oh yeah.
great. That was
That was
amazing.
that was great. He totally just wipes out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that, right? It was kind of like the opposite, right, of playing the daughter off of Anna there is
Mm,
she's like the surf kid as opposed to being like this rock and roll kid. So that kind of makes sense, I guess, a little bit. Anna does get her chance to finally play in this band thing, which
mm.
was okay, right? Anna is the music executive and basically like talks this rising star into having her old band come out onto the stage. That makes sense. And then they basically take over the show, which I thought was probably not great if you paid money to see that other person and then just other band just comes out and takes over. But that's okay. But I don't know. It's kind of wonk because like Anna, right? Lindsay Lohan,
Mm.
in the first film, she didn't really get to do the rock and roll. Right, her mom did. Right, Tess got to be the one out on stage, like
Yeah.
taking in all of the applause and stuff. And then in this one, also doesn't get to because her daughter is the one, and she like brings her out on stage to play the guitar because it's really her embodied. So Lindsay Lohan never gets to like rock out on the stage. She gets the shaft.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I kind of found this part. I liked it. It kind of, I mean, they what I find really interesting is they found all the actors. Like I don't know how you do
Mm.
that after
Hmm.
22 years, right? Because let's face it, people die, people get old, people get fat. Like and
Yeah.
all of these people looked amazing.
Not all
All
of
of
us age
them
like Mark Harmon. So,
apparently, I mean, I don't look anything like I did when 22 years ago. I can promise you. And I'm like a normal person. So all of these people came back. They sing the same song. It's kind of got like a newer, like feel to it. I don't know how to
yeah.
really. It's kind of re-modernized in a way. But I do like that there's this piece and this moment between um, Anna and Harper, where Harper realizes that, there was her mom was a whole person with a whole life
Yeah.
that was very different. And then when she decided to become a mom and to raise Harper, she kind of stepped out of that life, right? She it wasn't going to be a member of Pink Slip anymore. She was going to be a music producer, so she was still going to get to do the things that she loved, but there was still a part of her that really misses that
Hmm.
performance. And I think that's important for kids, right? As I think as old as I get, it's nice to know, like, that I was a person, I was a young person once too, and this was kind of
Hmm.
a little different dynamic than what we saw in the first film.
Yeah.
It was just, and then I also really love that the whole time they think, the young girls think that Anna is probably still in love with Jake somehow because she wrote this song, and it's all about, like,
Mm-hmm.
still thinking about this person and still loving this person and always going to love this person. And they think that it's about Jake. And so they finally find out, kind of at the end of the film, that it was not about Jake. She wrote it about her daughter, which seems a little strange because in the first, like, 30 seconds, I'm like, oh, this is a motherly love song. This is not a romantic love song if you listen to the words at all. But I guess I could understand the confusion, I suppose. But I really like that
Hmm.
piece too, where, at the end of the day, the daughter, Harper, feels like her mom gave all these things up, but would do it again 100 times because it was worth it. She really, really loves her daughter, and she would even give up marrying Eric if she really thought that it's not what her daughter needed or wanted. If it was really going to ruin her daughter's life, like she kept saying, "You're ruining my life," that she was going to sacrifice her own happiness. And I think that piece is, I don't know how healthy that is necessarily, but I thought that it was, I liked the way that that kind of came out.
Hmm. Yeah, and you have the same kind of sentiment from Eric too, right? They're there
Hmm.
at the rehearsal dinner that he's catering because he's like a top chef, I guess, kind
Mm.
of deal. That's his bag. So he's there catering and kind of learns all this stuff. I think even uh trying to remember. I think even like Jake like shows up at the rehearsal dinner and things like that, and Eric's like, "Well, okay, maybe this isn't meant to be." And he turns on that pretty quick too, right? Wanting to be very protective of his family. Maybe that's something that happens, right? As if you're someone who has lost a spouse in that way,
Mm.
you're probably very protective of your what you have left of that family dynamic. So that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. And yeah, eventually they all get back together. Obviously, Eric uh, goes and gets shown the limelight here of this concert, and then they go on and have the wedding. I liked it as nice. The little brother from the first one is there
Mm.
at the wedding. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Um, for me, like the thing, like I couldn't wrap my head around too much. Like this was fun. It was a good movie. It was enjoyable to watch. It had a lot of comedic moments. I think that really they did a good job of showing off Julia Butters and Sophia Hammond's,
Mm.
Harper and Lily. I thought that it did a good job of showing them off and kind of, having Tess and Anna take a little bit more of like a backseat kind of a thing to this, which was good. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis now Oscar winner could very easily have taken over this whole story, right? And had this been more about her, but it seemed like they did a good job of highlighting the younger girls there in the story. But for me, like the interest, like I couldn't wrap my head around like. I get like the mother daughter swap obviously that we had in the first one, and you get that here too. But I didn't like step grandma to step granddaughter. I didn't see like what sort of like amends they were supposed to be making with each other. And
Yeah.
I mentioned it earlier, like Lily really is like didn't get anything out of this, right? She just had to come to the realization that her dad was going to be sad if he didn't stay in California, right? Like what does that do for her necessarily? I mean, yeah, I mean you want to see your dad be happy, but like that's not like something you have to come to terms with your step grandma.
Yeah. I think they tried to caveat that or fix that, because at the beginning, remember, Tess actually tries to talk to Lily when they're in their own bodies, and she says, "Look,
Hmm.
I'm here for you." And she's like, "You don't know anything about me. You're, like, don't shrink me. Like, you're a psychiatrist, and that's great, but, like, leave me alone." I mean, and
Hmm.
she's pretty forward about it, right? Like, she's not rude, but she's not happy. She's like, "I'm not having this conversation with you." I would have liked to have seen more of that a little bit, because what I end up seeing instead is, yeah, this kind of, they have fun. They kind of see eye to eye a little bit. And then at the end, Lily has this total about face like, oh, I just
Mhm.
love this family now. And I have a family now. And this will be great. This will be
Yeah,
my family. Wherever my sister is, I need to be there too. And it was like,
right.
whoa, what? What?
And they did,
To me, that was a little, they needed to do some work to build that bridge a little bit because it was a stretch.
right.
Um, and I would have also liked to see them say, okay, well, look, we're going to get you into, there's a fashion program here and
Mhm. Yes.
goes to Fashion Week in Paris once a year,
There are things in California like sunshine
like
that are also
well,
good.
right, or something like that where
Yeah.
she wasn't kind of left out of the of
Yeah.
it because the only thing she really got to do that day, I mean, she got to create a bunch of fashion stuff for the for that big
Mhm.
model,
Right.
fashion
Mhm.
moment, right? But other than that, it was like, okay, I guess she just learns to deal with it. I don't know. I would have liked to have seen something else happen on in that piece of the story arc for sure.
Just something about it like just didn't like make sense in my own brain. Like I said, it was enjoyable and it was humorous and all the things that it set out to do, but it just like for like a story element, I just didn't quite jive with that. We talked a little bit about how the change occurred, and like that would have been an interesting take for like Tess and Anna to be like, we need to get these girls to see eye to eye. Let's feed them the magic uh fortune cookie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
let them see, just like how we had to do, right? Or something like that. I think maybe it would have been a little bit more. And you mentioned the script, and I think it was just because there's like so much. It's so hard to keep track of, like in your own head, like when you're watching it. And of course, it's been very hard for you listeners out there to keep track of this, as we're talking about people who are playing different people through all of this thing. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, it is Freakier Friday. It is a pretty good sequel, I think, to Freaky Friday. It's doing pretty well at the box office. It's definitely not going to reach the heights of Freaky Friday in terms of dollars there, but it's been pretty well received. I think that you enjoyed your time there. I had a pretty good time with it myself as someone who is new to this. And like I said, Manny Jacinto like stole the show. Like he was incredible. I think he's destined for big things. And Julia Butters apparently is also excellent. I didn't really know of her from anything, but she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She was the little girl there in that like saloon scene there. So that was her from that.
Ah.
She was also in The Fablemans. She was the sister
Oh
in The Fablemans.
yeah.
So apparently Julia Butters is going to be like the best actress of all time. And Sophia Hammonds, this was like her first like major motion picture. She's done some Disney Channel stuff, but this was like her first movie. So I thought that they did really well, right? I mean, it's not Shakespeare for sure, but I thought that they did a great job of holding their own. And like I said, they were featured more prominently, I thought, than Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, which is kind of what you expect,
Yeah.
coming into something like this. So,
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely worth your time. It's a fun ride. And I think too, I mean it's good. We saw a lot of different folks in the theater when we went and saw it. It was packed. Didn't
hmm
and I was not expecting it to be packed. We there were a lot of like multi-generational families, like people like taking
sure.
their grandma to see it. So it was kind of fun in that way because it did add like a layer there. I don't know if they'll do a Freakiest Friday because there's no way. Like, how good is Mark
In
Harmon
20
gonna look
in 22 years.
2047, you know?
He'll look exactly the same. That's right,
He
absolutely.
will.
So let's do it. Bring it on. Why not? Freakiest Friday. Let's get after it. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know, but I do know that I'm going to make another Empress lychee gimlet because that thing was delicious. So if
Delicious.
if you happen to make one of those or you made your way out to see Freakier Friday, definitely let us know about it. Send us pictures, tell us your stories, let us know what you think about Freaky Friday or Freakier Friday. You can do that on our social medias. It's at Drink the Movies on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Facebook.com/Drink the Movies. If you want to see pictures of our cocktail, episode recaps, links to Drink the Video Games, to the merchandise shop, all that stuff can be found on our website, which is www.drinkthemovies.com. And from there, you can also find the link to our Patreon, patreon.com/drinkthemovies. That is the best place to support the podcast. If you want to get more episodes, bonus stuff, cocktail chats, hangouts, all that stuff can be found there. Again, it's patreon.com/drinkthemovies. And we're going to be talking about Freaky Friday over there as well. So you want to make sure you get primed and ready for Freakier Friday, which you just listened to. It's a freakier drink the movies time right now for sure. So go check that out. We appreciate all of our patrons over there so much. Michaela, next week we're going to be getting back to a couple of older films, right? Covering a couple of classics before we make our way back out to the movie theater for some more new stuff coming in a couple of weeks. So where can people follow along with the pod, all that stuff?
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, anywhere where Spotify podcasts are supported and distributed. We are so excited about this community. If you're liking what you're hearing, you like our 2 drops a week, we do our lobby bar, we do our deep dives. We also have Drink the Video Games. That looks amazing. This next one is we're doing, Brian is doing all Star Wars video games. I pop in to give you a cocktail. It's a good time, so go check that out. But you can find us on all the social medias. If you're liking what you're hearing, leave us a 5-star review. If you have comments, suggestions, movies you want us to cover, drinks you want us to cover, things that you don't like, that you want to, vent about, movies perspective, we love to hear all of it. And it really helps us get all the Drink the Movie stuff out there.
Absolutely. So that's going to wrap it up for episode 231, Freaky Year Friday. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time on
Drink
Drink
the
the
Movies.
Movies.
I really like the newer version of the Ultimate song that Lindsay Lohan sang at the end of the
Oh,
first movie and the second. I really liked this version too. It was good.
yeah, 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 for sure. Absolutely. I like she held up like the Britney Spears record at the record shop.
Yep. Ah.